We're back in session. Matters of interest to commissioners. Anyone have anything? Individuals, delegation list of commissioners. Mr. Mike Jackson, chairman of the animal board. Mr. Eddie Knight. Are you not coming in?
Yeah, I'm in the bullpen tonight.
All right, Mr. Jackson.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
As he said, my name is Mike Jackson. I've been on the Animal Control Board since its inception. We're here tonight to talk to you about the Animal Control Board. As the advisory board has met and discussed this at length, we didn't get maybe the communication weren't there, maybe we weren't as quick as we should have been in getting on with the budget. But we would like to request a part-time employee of 1,000 hours. If you prorate that down, you're looking at about 700 hours. And as Lisa has told me, Ms. Coleman has told me, that's going to basically break down to about $7,300. The reason for this is the animal control has done a tremendous job recently. I don't know if you've been to our shelter or not, but have seen the changes that we've made and the improvements that we have made. But right now, we're about 3 weeks out on, if you call and got a cat, you want us to come set a cat trap for you, we're 3 to 4 weeks out before we can get someone out there to set a cat trap for you. This is an important service to the county. And the inmates that we have, and we got a couple of really good ones right now, they tell me, and they're doing a great job. But we have the policy that we have, if we have an animal come in that has a body score of 3 or less, or it has been taken because it has been abused or neglected, that animal has to go to the veterinarian. In order for this animal to go to the veterinarian, an animal control officer has to go and sit with this thing the entire time that it's at the vet. I mean, they can't leave it, the inmates can't take it, and the inmates do a great job cleaning, they do a great job feeding, and as I said, we've got 2 good ones right now. And they can actually walk with some people. If you come in and want to look at an animal, they can walk with you to talk with you about this animal. But they can't be left at the shelter alone. We're tremendously understaffed at this point, and basically what we're asking for is for roughly $7,300, and that would be if it were to start November the 1st, for animal control to be able to maintain the standards that we have. I will go ahead and steal someone's thunder and say that we have a $50,000 capital improvement grant that Miss Karen Suggs for the animal control has put in for and got approved. And it's going to be a help, but a tremendous help, but it is for capital expenses only, and we can't use that for an individual.
Anyone got any questions?
Mr. Jackson, the duties for these part-timers would be to just do
The duty for this part-time individual would be they're going to be on call a little bit, very possibly. They're going to be taking animals to the vet. They're going to be taking animals to the vet, babysitting this animal at the vet. And in reality, what you'd love to do, this individual is making about $10 an hour. Ideally, what you'd like to do is to get a part-time employee in there that has tremendous passion for his job, and over a period of time, as we expand, is to build this into a full-time employee. But their duties is going to be working the front, cleaning pens with the inmates, feeding dogs, and taking animals to the vet, and dealing with the public as they come in.
All right, thanks, sir.
And freeing up an agent to go set up cat traps.
Okay.
Because you were a short position, you hired that.
We have that position to be filled very shortly.
So you already been short.
So we've been tremendously short, and we've had people working weekends and comp time and some overtime involved in it. So basically, this position is $7,000, but when you look at the comp time and the overtime that is involved, it's pretty much a scratch as far as the money goes.
Mr. Jackson, Mr. Martin, it will be on our agenda next meeting, and Mr. Martin will get with animal control, whatever he needs to present to the commissioners for us to make a decision next meeting. And the reason I say that is we're supposed to let it lay on the table one meeting if it's new money. But we will decide in 2 weeks if that's
And
okay.
I encourage that. And if you have any questions at all, they have my phone number, my email address. I'll be glad to help you answer any questions that I possibly can. I encourage you to come look at our facility and the improvements that we have made.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 6, I declare the public hearing open to receive comments regarding, for year 2021 NC Department of Transportation Community Transportation Program application. Is there anyone here to speak at the public hearing? If not, I declare the public hearing closed, and then we'll go to item B, is consider and adopting a 2021 Public Transportation Program resolution and approving supporting documentation. What's the pleasure of the board? Mr. Bullock made the motion, second by Ms. Trivett. Any discussion?
Just one thing, on this 2020 plan, 2021 plan, is there any upgrades in what you're gonna be doing with this transportation?
Those monies right there, they're for, admin salaries, benefits, and then operating salaries.
Okay, so there will be some,
Well, I mean, it's not any additional, people or anything like that, but, we have grant funds and things like that that we get separately that, assist in, what ridership we get there.
so this don't expand the service, it just.
That's just operating money.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item C, I declare the public open. No, you good. I declare a public hearing open to receive comments regarding amended flood damage prevention ordinance. Is anyone here to speak? If not, I declare the public hearing closed, and then I'll ask for a motion to consider and adopt it an amended flood damage prevention ordinance.
Motion to approve.
Dr. Othea Mungorns made the motion, second by Mr. David Gooden. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item 7A is Bladen County Schools, consider approving a capital outlay project reimbursement request in the amount of $292,220.99. And Mr. Martin, Ms. Penny could not be here, but she's talking to Mr. Martin.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. You all have, I'm sure have seen the list of items that are included. The total is $292,220.99. And the bulk of the items are related to heating and air systems, chillers, HVAC systems, heat pumps, and that type thing. There are also, there's a Cisco software lease payment in the amount of almost $24,000, and 5 clear touch boards for Bladen Lake School, as well as soccer goals for several of the middle schools. But
What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Britt, second by Ms. Trivett. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item 8 is BCC and Bladen County Sheriff's Office Joint Driving Pad, Ms. Sandra Guyton, BCC Vice President for Workforce and Continuing Education.
Good evening. If you'll recall at the last meeting, I presented a driving pad project that we are working on with the County of Bladen for a total of $6.5 million. We are seeking a grant with the Economic Development Administration for $5.2 million, and we are seeking the remaining 20% match from the Golden Leaf Foundation of $1.3 million. We are asking the county for our backup plan for the 20% match in the event that we do not receive the 1.3 Golden Leaf grant fund. So in preparing to speak with you tonight and in working on this grant project, we have reached out to area employers. And I'm very excited to tell you that so far we have reached 11 employers that have committed 268 jobs to this project. And we have a list of at least 10 more that have promised to send in letters on committing jobs to this project. So I don't know exactly how many jobs total we have at the moment. that we'll have at the end, but right now we have 268 jobs committed. And so I'm here to, ask for your vote to, be our backup plan for that $1.3 million.
Of course. At the last meeting, I asked a couple of questions about the data. From FTCC and from Sandhill, the number that they have graduated last couple of years, but I still haven't gotten the data. I never get the data. Yeah.
Did you request that from me?
Hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I did not understand that.
Yeah, but the idea was, I mean, can you justify, because you said, well, 5 or 6 graduates last year, so
Yes,
how
ma'am.
do you justify a pad or training center for 5 or 6 drivers? But if you have Fairfield Tech graduating maybe 5 or 6 every 6-8 weeks, how long is the program for them? 8 weeks?
It depends.
Okay.
Just like the last time, every community college has a different type of truck driver training program. They're not all run the same. Let me pull a better example that I can give you some information on, and that is Sampson Community College. Sampson Community College, they run 7 classes a year, back to back. As soon as one finishes, another one starts. They have 24 students in every class. Out of the 24, they have 50 applicants. Now, this is coming from Mr. Brent Stamey, who is the director over the program at Sampson Community College. He told me he always has a waiting list. Whenever someone drops, someone else. I feel like when looking at the different community colleges, the success of your college and the number of graduates that you have really depends on how well you run your program. And speaking of the 5 that you're talking about from last week or 2 weeks ago, those 5 are students that live in Bladen County that want to do truck driving, and they went through training through our WIOA program. Those are not the total people that would take truck driving. Those are just ones that were supported through WIOA.
Okay. So I would tell you also that what a lot of the drivers are doing for the, you can get your CDL by going through bus driver training, right? And those same CDLs will allow you to do some of the other positions. I know the company's coming in right now in about 60 days in our area, but not in Bladen County. And of that, they don't require CDLs because now they're gonna be vans. They're not going to the 18 wheels or big trucks anymore. They actually go into vans. And that doesn't require CDLs at all. So, I mean, and I think you said Fairfield Tech has the same program, right?
Fairfield Tech has a truck driving program. I won't say that it's the same.
Well, a program.
Yes,
I think it's transport technology program, whatever. Is that what it's called?
Mhm.
So I just want their numbers, the data,
Mhm.
to show that how many people, even if 25 apply, how many pass.
Yes, ma'am.
So those data, and that's all I want.
Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, I just got one question. Do we get any type of revenue from this program?
We do. For every student that sits in a class, we earn, we call it budget FTE. So in other words, we received budget this year for, the students that were sitting in class last year. So, yes, sir. And these classes carry a lot of hours, and it creates a lot of FTE. So we do stand to generate revenue from this class. However, we have to also pay the cost of operating a program like this as well.
Anyone else? Mr. Pruitt?
One correction though, to speak on what Dr. Mungoin said. Your transfer trucks is a class A. Your bus drivers and all are class B. There is a significant difference there.
With CDL is what they're asking for.
Yeah, with CDLs, there's several different CDLs.
Understand.
Transfer trucks.
I have both.
A.
I have both.
Right.
So-
I do too, that's the
Yeah,
reason I want
so
to
we'll do
clarify.
Listen,
Mr. Cogdell?
the person I want to ask is, when we get ready to move into this process, Mr. Chairman, will we put can a motion be put on the floor for how we want this funding source to be administered? how is this gonna be done?
I don't understand your question.
We need a letter of intent to supplement this particular grant,
If needed.
if needed. And what I'm asking, can we specify in the motion where that funding source will come from?
Well, I don't know that we're prepared to do that tonight. No, I'm not gonna support a motion like that. And I don't, when it be up to Mr. Martin
That's
to
what
come
I'm
back
saying.
on us.
That's what I
When
was-
it be coming from. It come from the general fund and that's just
See,
something.
what I was getting ready to say is we could, that's the only thing I'm saying is I look at it, if we make this commitment tonight, we have made a commitment to assist them if it falls through and they don't get it. Because there's no use us doing it if it's not a guaranteed situation. And the only thing I was saying, if we do it, can't the motion include that the money will come from the fund balance?
I think that's what
That's
Mr.
what
Martin
you
said.
said last
I was gonna say unassigned
I want
fund
it, I
balance.
want it to be specified, so that we'll know, you're not gonna start dividending other money, that it will come from fund balance. That's where we will appropriate that money from, straight from fund balance.
Yes, sir.
No other sources, that's it. We won't tap nothing else from fund balance. So we'll draw down our fund balance to accommodate this project. That's the only thing I was asking. Can we do that?
That's no problem. That's what Mr. Martin said last meeting, I think. But I've got a couple of comments. The jobs that we are working on and get, Ms. Saunders already got 268 potential CDL truck drivers. Those are new jobs. That's 268 jobs as of the night that's coming to this county, that's gonna gonna buy their meals and gonna buy their drinks and gonna increase the tax base, and we're gonna get a whole lot more than 268 before it's all said and done. So, how many Fayetteville Tech does don't have impact on me, it's potential of new jobs for Bladen County. And then the revenue is gonna be the money they spend in our county.
Mr. Chairman, what companies have responded to you? You say you got letters, who responded to you?
Campbell Oil, Cape Fear Turf Farm, Clarkton Cotton, Hester Trucking, Oakland Turf Farm, Saks Peanuts, Smithfield Hog Production, Taylor Manufacturing, Taylor Products, Divine Foods, Waccamaw Transport, and Wheatland Trucking. Those are the ones that have sent a letter in thus far.
So a new job, not current.
New
Well, how
jobs.
is you make a motion?
Yeah.
Well, I make a motion that we provide the funding source from the fund balance to be used to support the grab and pay for the EMS project, the Bladen Community College, Bladen Community College project.
In the event,
Huh?
that's in the
In
event.
the event that we do not get golden leaf funds, as long as it's specified where it's gonna come from.
You got that, Ms. Murray? Second by Mr. Good, any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Okay,
Thank you.
just one,
Yeah, one vote.
because I didn't have to take.
Okay, one opposed, I'm sorry. I'll just be a man opposed. Finance Department, Ms. Lisa Coleman, I wanna make sure I was in the right place. Sorry, Lisa.
I'd like to review the dashboard for the end of September, which was 25% of the year period. At the end of September, we had collected 28.39% of the revenues in the general fund and spent 22.98%. I will say this on the general fund, that does include, EMS. And we're watching it right now because their call volume's down. However, Greg and I were researching it today and looking at things. Thankfully, their revenue right now is up a little bit compared to last year, but we don't know that we've got real good foundation right now to say that's ongoing, so, but, we are looking at that and monitoring that. Solid waste, we're at 37.63% in revenues and 22.96%. But if you notice on the dashboard for solid waste, their expenditures are up about $170,000 over the same time frame last year. And we're monitoring that very close too because of the hauling contract and the collection contract has increased tremendously. Emergency telephone, we've collected 16.81% and spent 26.95%. Just to let you know what that amounts to is a lot of that is the upfront contracts that are due at the first of the year. and then they'll start leveling off as time permits. Water is at 25.49%, and we've spent 7.16%. Don't have any questions?
Any questions?
Okay.
No, just one comment.
Okay.
We really need to keep our eye on the ball.
We are.
Okay.
Well, that's one thing, we've got spreadsheets set up and Greg and I've been monitoring on a monthly basis.
When situations arise, it needs to be addressed.
Mr. Lisa, I have a question. Is our sales tax revenue, is it on schedule to be par, down, up, which way is it?
Article 32 right now, and Article 39 right now, at the end of September was down over the state, what was it, 9.32%?
And that reflects how much if we would lose 9.3%.
About, was it about 200,000?
Probably, because we get close to,
So that means sales tax is down about 200,000.
not quite that much.
Maybe not quite, it might not be quite that much, but that's only for the 3-month period, so we're hoping that we'll see some turnarounds on that
So,
too.
but let's make sure that the 9% is the overall rate. Would it be
That's
9%?
That's what it was on the first 3 months.
So we lost that much revenue that was normally generated, so the next one could possibly be another 200,000.
No, sir.
That's all.
The,
Oh,
last
yeah.
year, we lost 200,000 with that refund that was due back from a large taxpayer. Remember that? We brought that to you. And so they're, when they average that together for the year, that's where they're coming up with the 9.32%.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we was
So
on
we're
track that
hoping
last
that
time.
it'll come back and bounce back into place, but we don't know yet.
We're still seeing the
A decline.
And you remember we talked about this extensively at budget time. We still would love to know what it is that has impacted it in a negative way. And as we indicated to you then, we've talked with the Department of Revenue, and we just can't seem to be able to obtain more specific figures to be able to determine that.
The reason I'm asking the question, I remember we said it was kind of reflected because of the storms and different things that we do.
That's
And
right,
I'm
that
asking,
may
is
be.
that still an impact or has it turned around?
It hasn't turned around yet.
And the same thing on the solid waste, she mentioned solid waste, you recall that the tonnage has been up.
Yes, exactly.
And it's
And
still
it's
up,
still
and
up.
it's still up, and so that's what she was referring to there.
It's
So
living at a deficit with revenue coming in.
yes, the revenue is not, on solid waste, the revenue is not increasing, but the tonnage and therefore the cost is.
So
Right.
you're looking at a deficit on both
Yes,
ways.
that's right.
Thank you, Ms. Lisa.
Thank you.
Revenue Department versus Renee Davis. Consider a bid for the amount of $57.70 for county-owned property located at 194 West Dexter Street, Clarkin. Motion by Mr. Britt, second by Ms. Trivett. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item B is consider a bid in the amount of $13,620 for county-owned property located on Airport Road.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Good, and second by Dr. Opie, none going. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, Mr. Knapp. Good job. Department of Social Service, Ms. Vicki Smith, Director.
I have just a small delegation with you today. We have a 6-month report that was included in your packet, the last quarter was, but based on quality improvement programs such as the Plan Do Check Act method, the DHS department is continuously improving things in our agency. With the client as our focus, it's important that we continue these improvements. So looking back over the past 6 months, the staff had the opportunity and participated in a SWOT analysis a few weeks ago. Positive outcomes from the audit process were that we were able to have that SWOT analysis, and that hasn't been done in the agency. Performance on audits and trends by staff members, we knew individually how folks were performing, and training was implemented as needed. Newly hired staff were trained in Cumberland County, all except one staff member, and she came after the training started and will be given the opportunity for training as that opportunity comes back over. We are giving just-in-time training to the staff, and due to positive individual scores in September, we raised the bar a little bit and did a more detailed audit, which is based on each case situation. So while you see in your packet that the scores decreased, this audit is more reflective of our performance. We did have some opportunities for improvement, and we saw that due to the low number of staff when we presented it, and the low number of staff in the audit category, the anonymity of staff was at risk when we presented in an open session and in the way the graphs were presented. Additionally, the graphs were becoming complicated and difficult to interpret. So we worked on that in an effort to protect the staff and increase the readability and comprehension. You have reviewed the new graphs in your packet. The percentages are given based on the work of the income maintenance team with less than 1 year of experience in one set of graphs, and those with greater than a year experience on the other. And as the team found during the SWOT analysis, reporting a team score is less intimidating for them, and it gives the goal to move forward as a team rather than individually. The individual scores are maintained monthly and reviewed with the individual staff member. That process has not changed. We want to continually report this to the staff, and we'll report the team score to you here. The DHS Advisory Committee has reviewed and approved this new format, and we hope that through this, the trend will show that anytime we have a decrease in staff performance, you understand we will proceed with the coaching and or with corrective action as needed. We are drilling down on data per question to see if there are individual questions out of the 87 questions or so. If there are certain questions that give each staff member so that we can more closely define where the training needs to occur. Again, the continuous quality improvement. Do you have any questions?
So that's well and good for team scores, but we're concerned with individual scores. We want to know when an employee is not performing, and we want to know what's being provided to help that employee. So team scores are good, but we need to see individual scores also.
We can bring those.
Right. I mean, we want to make sure that if an individual employee is falling, we want to make sure that employee is getting help and getting that employee up to speed. So if we just get a team score, we're not going to know what you got. So I need individual scores.
We can bring the individual scores if the board chooses that.
Okay. Anything else?
The-
Dr. O'Feeman going?
Yep, and I did notice like on the department report for technical application audit, we went down from the month of August versus September. And that was done both, those for 1 year, a year or less or above. So it's something going on. It can't be that one person to bring it down. So it's something else.
That was the more detailed audit.
Okay, okay.
Mr. Bullock?
I just got one question. You mentioned that one employee missed the cutoff for the training to go to Fayetteville.
She was hired after they started the training,
So, when would she get to go to training?
when it is offered again.
Okay, so she will be getting like, a mentor or something like that?
Yes, she has been,
Internal,
Yeah.
an internal.
and she's
Cardell.
doing very well.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so I think that was the question I was gonna ask somewhat. If a person you hire in and can't get into the training process, do we have staff that can adequately train that person?
And she's
That
doing
would
very
meet the
well.
same criteria that Fairview and Montgomery County asked for. So we do have staff on both.
Yes.
So who would those staff be?
Who are the staff that do the
Who's staff that
training?
does the training?
We have a lead worker and we also have a supervisor, and they also work as teams.
Okay, so you have staff appointed for that reason. The reason I'm asking, if a person comes in and we start, like Ms. Peters said, we start getting scores that don't reflect what we're looking at, who do we point that to get it corrected? Do we allow them the opportunity to say, well, this one didn't meet the criteria, so let's send them to Fayetteville to give a chance to meet the criteria?
As soon as the opportunity avails itself to go for additional training, we'll do that, or for the original training. It just doesn't happen continuously, time
So,
to
but what
time.
I'm saying, if a person is failing, while he's training under us, we will allow them the opportunity to go see if they can get trained from Fayetteville.
Yes, sir.
Before we start talking about termination or removal.
Absolutely,
I
but
wanna make
even
sure.
quicker than that.
Okay, I wanna make
because
sure.
we will get just-in-time training as they see issues developing over the course of time. Then they will get the feedback right then.
Okay, that's the only thing I wanted to make sure that we can
Dr.
do for a
O'Feeman
change.
going?
Train the trainer,
Yes.
peer training. That person should be able to train individuals at a level just probably a little shy of what they would get if they went out of the county. And if that person, is that a person available in your department, in that department to do it, is the question? Yes?
Yes, we have the supervisor and the lead worker.
Then my only comment would be then, with both of them qualified to train, our numbers at some point need to come up above where they are. Because that same person, or two people, who will make the same mistakes, then maybe they need to be coached as they go through the process a little more.
I understand, yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Item 12, Health and Human Service, presentation of state approved 2018 Community Health Assessment, CHA.
It's with pleasure that I introduce to you Travis Rear, the new health educator too. He's been with us less than 3 months, and he's going to present to you tonight the state-approved community health assessment.
Yes.
Welcome, Travis. Welcome.
All right. As many of you may know, our local accreditation board of the state, and our state accreditation board, they make us, and we'd like to do it as well, do this community health assessment at least every 4 years, right? It ultimately provides a wonderful roadmap for us to navigate and develop some great strategies and goals to improve the health and wellness of our community. The goal is the community health assessment is to understand the most pressing health needs of our county. Findings of these reports, like I said, helps us know where we need to go with strategies and goals and programs as a department as a whole. So this 2018 community health assessment, dated 2018, was approved in March of 2019, excuse me, submitted March of 2019 and approved July of 2019. We had a wonderful steering committee. We appreciate Mr. Chairman sitting on that steering committee, and also previously stated Cape Fear Valley, Bladen County, Ms. Duncan. She was on that steering committee along with Mr. Martin. They steered us well and provided us great direction on formulating this community health assessment. Something new this year that was done, it was a great regional partnership with ECU and a kind of banner program named Health ENC. We did partner, excuse me, I did skip over that. We did partner with Cape Fear Valley Hospital once again to do that. And we're very appreciative of them of footing the bill and paying for this regional community health assessment. And helped us get some wonderful data that we wouldn't be able to in times past. So healthcare leaders across the state, they found value in this as well. So pretty much what that process looks like is we look at primary data and also secondary data. Primary data is our kind of community surveys where we engage with our community, ask them their health needs, and gather those surveys through paper and online surveys in many different ways. We also had focus groups as well. So we combined what the community tells us they believe the health needs are, and we also compared that with secondary data, which is kind of the hard statistics and surveillance that is collected by state, federal, and local agencies. That's where Conduit come in. They have a 100 indicator database that tells us some of those indicators. And you'll see kind of what a dashboard looks like on the following slide that you've received in your packet. Kind of compares what Bladen County looks like compared to North Carolina and the United States. And also has some wonderful gauges to kind of tell us what's hot, what's a hot topic, what's needed, what's trending downwards or staying the same. One important factor that kind of helps us understand the leading causes of death, that's the next slide, helps us understand where we need to go is what's killing people. Not only in our state, but North Carolina. Heart disease is the #1 killer in Bladen County, followed by cancer, accidental injuries, chronic disease, chronic lower respiratory diseases, and diabetes. So this steering committee, after the summary report was provided to us by Health ENC and Conduit, we looked at those data points and we developed some summary findings and priority areas. Okay, the significant health needs are as follows, and based off that, they chose at least 3 priority areas that our health department and community partners, such as the Healthy Bladen Collaborative, will focus on the next 3 years. And those 3 are exercise and nutrition, and weight, along with substance abuse and new and emerging issues as maternal, fetal, and infant health. Some noteworthy findings, what kind of some anecdotal things our community said about our county. They said they needed more information about substance abuse prevention, which is a very important issue that our task force, opioid task force, has been working on very diligently over the past few months. Substance abuse was followed by more information on eating well, nutrition, weight management, and going to the doctor for yearly checkups. One good thing I like to bring to the point is our community said that Bladen County, it was one of the top things they could rank, is a safe place and a good place to grow up old and raise your family and children at. Kind of what our next steps are to pretty much develop our community action plan, submit that to the state for their approval, and get on the ground and start working to improve the health outcomes for our county. So I welcome your questions in regards to that.
Anyone got any questions?
Good, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kraft.
Thank you.
Item B is consider approval of professional service agreement with Columbus County to provide medical and other health care services.
This would provide care until we get a full-time provider.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Dr. Ophir Mongoin, second by Ms. Trivett. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Item C is approving the 1920 vaccine flu charge.
The fees haven't changed since last year.
I got one question on that.
Motion by Mr. Bullock, second by Mr. Bria. Any discussion?
One person, if an individual has no health insurance at all, not employed, no income, and they need a flu shot, how do they go about getting that done?
Right now, we have a fee for that. It would be a $45 fee for that.
Where would they get it if they don't have it and need a flu shot? Do we not give flu shots to people who need them, or if we don't?
We do give flu shots, yes, sir, but if they have no insurance source, it would be a self-pay.
So they don't, that's what I'm asking. So is there anywhere that a person that is indigent, that doesn't have revenue?
We could reach out to some sources and help them find that. If they did not have the $45, we would try to reach out and try to help them find the source at the health department.
So we don't have any funds to the side to help a person that's indigent like that?
Not at the health department, no, sir, but we would try to help them find some funds.
No agencies, is there any agencies that a person can contact other than the health department, that you were anywhere?
We know that there are some sources through Bladen We Care. Bladen We Care might be an option.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out if a
Yes,
person
sir.
did not have it, and no funds, homeless with no money, we would just let them die if they, without getting a flu shot.
We would try to help them find some source.
Because my thing was, I didn't want to see them start going into the hospitals and start inundating hospitals to go get a flu shot, because they can't turn them out.
She said if you go to the health department, she's gonna help them find a way to get a shot.
That's what I'm just kind of asking how we do
We
that. How you
would
do
try
that?
to help find that source.
Symptom.
So we can send them over to you, and you will see if you
Yes,
can
sir,
find something.
we
About
will
You
try to
talking about
find
one, I
that.
ain't talking about several?
whatever, whoever, somebody needs a flu shot, they need a flu shot. I'm just trying to tell them, the doctor, we can't afford to give them a flu shot for $40.
Okay.
The first,
Ms. Bullock?
presenter said we're gonna try to improve the health of the county.
That's what I'm saying. We don't-
You gonna try to work with you?
We don't want to decrease the population.
But
She
they-
said she would work with you.
If they go to the ER, they get it.
That's what I'm saying, I'm just trying to figure out
The
where you
ER,
go.
they can't turn them away.
You can't get a flu shot for preventative. They will give them meds.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Consider approving a contractual agreement with Nutrient Plus to extend dietary services through October 31st, 2019. Motion by, Mr. Gooden, second by Mr. Bria. Any discussion?
Only thing, this is already done. This has already been done. Yes, okay.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Item E is Nutrient Plus to provide dietary service effective November first, 2019 to December 31st, 2019. Motion by Mr. Bullock, second by Ms. Trivett. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Consider approving a family planning service funding application.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Bullock,
Second.
second by Mr. Good. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Consider approving HHSA, Director's job description.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Dr. Philman Goins made a motion to approve, Ms. Trivett made a second. Any discussion?
Why do we have to change it? What
It's-
I'm
Director.
It's a requirement, an annual requirement that the regulatory board, for accreditation reviews it annually.
So annually, you have to, do you have the options to change things during that time?
She took out home health. We don't want to have home health.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out why we
Yeah,
changing
I mean,
it.
that was the change I seen.
I didn't know whether she had wrote, Mr. Duncan had wrote something out she didn't want.
Just something we didn't have.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, Ms. Duncan.
Thank you.
Emergency Service Director, Mr. Nathan Dallas. Consider approving restructuring of 2 positions to serve as emergency service public safety IT supervisor and GIS/E911 public safety IT coordinator.
So I know, we've got a memo, and I think the job descriptions for each job are in your packet. I wish I could say that I thought of this, but it's kind of, collaboration between my department, the sheriff's office with Jeff, and also Robin with IT. We currently have, as you know, Alicia that was here earlier, served as our, GIS 911 supervisor for a number of years. And the way the 911 center works, and Jeff can add on to this, the sheriff supplies the people that work in there and some of the maintenance, some of the equipment. My department actually chips in on the equipment and supplies most of the data that goes into that equipment, if that makes sense. So it's kind of got people spread out throughout different departments that handles this. A lot of times if there's a computer issue or server issue, Robin is called at 2 o'clock in the morning, or I am, or whoever. And 99% of the time, Mr. Culp, which is stationed at the sheriff's office now, is the one that's called to handle that problem in the morning. So, what we're looking at doing, and Jeff can add on to this, is taking the 911 position that we already had, the supervisor position, and kind of making what we call the public safety IT department under emergency services. Because the 911 center and emergency services, it just keeps evolving, it's getting more technology driven, and that 911 center is an animal by itself as far as the amount of money that the county puts into that through the 911 board funds, and it's a beast. I don't know any other way to put it. And
Would the,
Pleasure, Lord.
I have a question, will the payment structure be different, and would it be, is it currently falling under the sheriff or emergency management?
So the current position is just an IT position that's assigned to the sheriff's office, is what we're looking at restructuring, along with my supervisor position, that Alicia that just retired, currently are held. So what would happen is we would add some of those supervisor duties of mine onto the current 911 duties he does, and the IT duties he does for the sheriff's office. And then, take the rest of the salary from my supervisor and hire what we call a coordinator to kind of help him. I'm a big proponent since I come in of not just one person knowing how to do things.
Oh, yeah.
I like multiple people, that way if you want to take a week's vacation, it's not stacked up that high on your desk when you get back. So, and like I said, Jeff is the only one in the county really that knows our radio system inside and out. And, so some of that knowledge that he has can also be poured into that department to kind of help him out with things too. And our GIS not only supplies emergency service, but it, health department, tax office, fire department, voting districts. I mean, the list goes on and on. And in my opinion, that GIS system, not that we don't have a good one now, but it can do better. So, you know, having an extra person dedicated to that also would make that system more robust and.
And what we're proposing is generally agreed upon by the sheriff's office, emergency services and GIS, but it's also the format that a lot of the counties around us already use. It's already been proven. Using a prime example is like during a hurricane, there's an intense amount of IT stuff that needs to be done just for emergency services. So this would give us the flexibility to have 2 people on call here in the DOC, if there is an issue, not on call, okay, that's on call anyway, but available to help with IT issues, but everything is IT based. So.
Well, my question is, who's gonna be directing that employee? And what funding sources is it coming from? Is some of the funding source coming from the sheriff department? Is it coming from where's the funding source coming from?
So, the position that's under IT now, that's actually stationed at the sheriff's office, is already being funded through the IT department. And I have a vacant supervisor position, so we're gonna make the IT person stationed at the sheriff's office a supervisor, give him an increase from my supervisor salary for taking on supervisor's duties, use the remaining of that salary to hire a coordinator under you.
Why would you take an IT person from Robert? I don't understand that.
Well, we're not actually taking them from him.
He just reports to Robin. He's assigned to the jail.
See, but who's directing that employee?
Me. I would be if y'all approve this.
So I thought we did that, we gave that to the sheriff for him to have an IT person.
He reports to Robin now, but he's
Well, we were talking to the guy, well, I want to make sure I understand. When we were talking to the guys about, he was saying he had to use the IT people because of commodes and all these complications that come into place. I thought that was a sheriff employee.
Now, Mr. Cogdill, you may be thinking about 2 different positions. We also have a part-time, we have a part-time operations position that is under, the operations department, Kip McCleary, who works, his primary services are at the jail.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
So
He does help out with a few other things, but primarily, the jail takes his hours.
So we give another IT person that would be available also to be used at the jail again.
No, sir. No. This would be under emergency services, and it would be, let me say, you're adding some a new hat to Jeff Culp, who's already doing IT. He's under Robin's department now, he would move under Nathan's. And then an additional position would be hired. No new money, we're not talking about a net increase in cost at all. And that position, as we said, would enhance our GIS capabilities in the county overall, for the tax office, water department, fire, elections, everything.
And
So
they
it would be
trained, they'd be trained by a co-op to do the 911 stuff.
Right.
as well.
So it would be putting the extra burden on Robin and cutting his staff.
No, sir.
They're not trying to be helping because,
We'll have more
we'll still
people.
work across departmental lines.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out who that person gonna be.
And this is a
IT
collaborative, the one thing that I like about this is a collaborative proposal.
Well, I just thought the IT would always handle Robin, that's what I was trying to get clear.
Doctor, if you want to go on.
I appreciate, Mr. Dallas Foley, the conversation you had with me to explain to me, because now I think I understand it. The only thing I want to make sure on that other position, you said you're going to post that, go through HR, to hire, using the same dollars. Yes.
That position will be open to the public, I'll be posting the other job.
I'm just looking at staffing, that's what, who's handling the staffing.
Yeah, we're gonna work across departments, if Robin needs those guys, he'll actually add to it.
Okay, that's what I make sure.
Motion by Mr. Britt to accept, and seconded by Ms. Trivett. Any discussion? More discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item B is consider approving emergency service administration assistant 1 position.
So actually, when we put this request in, being made aware that there might be some funding we might could get from, local government to actually hire some additional people. We won't know for a few weeks, so I actually wanted to amend that to a part-time, position.
Pleasure of the board. Motion by Mr. Britt, seconded by
Question.
Mr.
That's
David
the other
Jones.
position you're talking about?
Any discussion?
This another,
Another.
this another position.
This is totally different from what we.
All right, on this position is, I was trying to find and I was telling Mr. Martin the same thing. Some other departments had to give up half-time employees. So I'm gonna go, some of the departments did too. And, do we have those funds available to hire a part-time?
The position we were talking about now was two positions, I think, that the Lumber River Council government was paying for through, state and federal money.
Okay.
So now that they get to work 12 months, those two ladies' time has run out with a clock. So in the meantime, I think Mr. Dallas is asking for a part-time employee, so he can put somebody in there to do what those ladies have been doing now.
Until they come, and what happens when they come back?
They're not coming back.
Not at all?
The Lumber River Council government, the state has to meet 70% spent. And they're at the state is at 68% spent now. So in 2 weeks, he'll know whether he's gonna get any more different employees from the Lumber River Council government, or he's gonna have to come back to the board and ask to fill the ladies' positions that were taking applications and things like that.
Do we need
We're gonna wait
to,
and
Did I
see.
help you, Doc?
Yes.
do we need to approve the position tonight? Do you recommend, recommendation here tonight, or?
We need to approve this, and if we can, because those ladies have been gone for 2 weeks, and he's got advertised, and he's already been without help for 2 weeks. People taking applications and following this grant money, this hurricane money. He don't have nobody doing it now but him.
I've been doing, taking the call.
So if it's okay for the board, usually we wait, but if
Well-
this is a kind of emergency situation.
And we're not asking for net new funding, so that's one
Okay.
I
thing.
thought the council government provided funding.
Those were for the other positions. Would be a
So
part-time
where's
county.
this funding here coming from? Where's this funding source coming from?
We have several vacant EMS positions, and funding has been relocated to emergency services.
Gonna give them.
So you're taking from Howard funding source,
David,
from
Howell.
David,
Right.
and taking some of
Well,
his
the
sources.
positions that are vacant, he doesn't anticipate filling anytime in the near future.
We didn't take it without talking to him first.
No, right.
He already put his name on it.
We didn't take it without asking.
Okay, got a motion on the floor in a second.